Genk in Belgium hosts round 1 of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge 2012, and this is the warm-up lap for the senior class pre-final. On pole, kart 205, Britain's Sean Babington for Dan Holland Racing, alongside his Irishman Charlie Eastwood in kart 208 for Pro Train Racing. 234, Ash Hand for Strawberry Racing, and 203, Ed Brand for Formula K Europe give us an all-British second row, and on row 3, another Brit, Harrison Scott, starts 5th for Strawberry Racing in kart 254. The race is underway and it looked like a decent start from Sean Babington on pole. From 3rd on the grid, Ash Hand followed him into turn 1 and has squeezed past Charlie Eastwood. In fact, from the front row, Charlie's down to 4th place. Babington leads, Hand is 2nd. Harrison Scott has made up 2 places and runs 3rd in kart 254. Eastwood's dropped back to 4th. Number 232, James Singleton, is 5th for Coles Racing, and behind him it's Ed Brand. Antoine Barthon has dropped out of the top 6, and basically everyone that was on the pole side of the grid has got away well, while the left-hand side of the grid have lost places because they were all stuck behind Charlie Eastwood, who made a poor start from the outside of row 1. There's all sorts of jostling going on in the bottom half of the field. Meanwhile, the leader completes lap 1, and here's a challenge for 4th place down the inside, and that's James Singleton getting ahead of Charlie Eastwood, whose difficult start to this pre-final continues. The Irish driver has now gone from 2nd to 5th, and he just needs to settle down now and find his rhythm. But now he's under attack from number 203, Edward Brand, and he loses another place in quick succession. So Eastwood's got work to do here. He remains super glued to the rear bumper of Brand, looking for an opportunity to get the place back. Up ahead, that's our lead trio of Sean Babington, Ash Hand and Harrison Scott. 4th is James Singleton, and that's 203 Ed Brand trying to catch him. They exit the first corner and Sean Babington has run wide in the blue race suit. He's fallen back to 3rd as the 232 kart of James Singleton gets shut out. He's stuck on the outside line and drops from 4th to 7th. Ash Hand picks up the lead but runs wide. Through come Harrison Scott, Sean Babington and Ed Brand to quickly demote him to 3rd. And now Charlie Eastwood is going to come through as well. There's Kenny Vermeulen and Thomas Benisri trying to get into the top 10. And here's another change of lead as Babington moves back to the head of the pack. 254 Harrison Scott is demoted to 2nd place, but he doesn't like it, and straight away he snatches the lead back. What a fantastic battle. I've lost count of how many times the order changed on that lap, but for now it's Scott who leads from Babington, Brand and Eastwood. He's back up to 4th. And there's contact. Babington gets squeezed but holds on to 2nd, and then Eastwood takes advantage of the delay to Ed Brand and goes 3rd. This has all allowed Ash Hand to get back onto the tail of the lead group, and now Edward Brand is fighting back. He finds a gap down the inside and quickly reclaims 3rd place from Eastwood. There's the race leader, Harrison Scott. Sean Babington is 2nd, Edward Brand 3rd, and getting in amongst the top 10 now are Thomas Benisri, and there's 281 Kenny Vermeulen on the tail of James Singleton. And with the blue and yellow colour scheme, that's 278 Barry Pullinger up to 6th place now for Dan Holland Racing. The British driver trying to find a way past fellow countryman Ash Hand. There's 208 Charlie Eastwood driving for Pro Train, the team run by 6 times British champion Gary Chapman. The top 2 remain absolutely nose to tail, and they're about to trade places again. Babington now back into the lead, Scott down to 2nd, and then you've got the reigning British Rotax Max champion Ed Brand watching their every move from 3rd place, with Eastwood at the back of the train in 4th. Bit of a gap back to 5th place then, and it looks like Barry Pullinger has now got ahead of Ash Hand for that position as the leaders begin a new lap. And a mistake from Babington. He runs slightly wide, and that's allowed Scott to come by. Brand also gets past, and Eastwood has a go too, but it doesn't pay off. He's stuck on the outside line, and it's going to cost him 4th place as Pullinger comes storming past. Scott, Brand and Babington, the new top 3. And there's a mighty scrap here for 8th place as 296 Josh Hart from New Zealand moves ahead of James Singleton. That's Pullinger with 2 wheels on the grass. Ash Hand flies past, as does number 300 Joel Affolter from the Netherlands. Pullinger drops from 5th to 7th, but he quickly regains a place. Down the inside of Affolter and up into the air goes Affolter. They're all banging wheels and 3 go off. Number 213, Thomas Benisri, was sent into a spin. Affolter is still bouncing along the grass, and the other one involved in all of that was the blue 210 kart of Antoine Barthon. Here's the replay, and there were 4 karts all fighting over the same piece of road. A racing incident, and after fighting hard to make his way into the top 10, Benisri comes off worse. This pre-final is developing into a great race. Babington hits Scott as he tries to find a way back into the lead. I'll give you the order, but I can't promise it's going to stay like this. In 1st place is Harrison Scott, 2nd is Sean Babington, 3rd is still Edward Brand, Ashand has gone ahead of Charlie Eastwood for 4th place, and rounding out the top 6 is Barry Pullinger. The leaders are all together now, and Babington does find a way through. Back into 1st place he goes. Babington points forward as they head on to the next lap, but if he's trying to tell Scott to follow him, he can forget it. Wide again at the first corner for Babington. Scott comes through, and Ed Brand is on the attack as well. Babington and Brand run wheel to wheel, but Babington holds on to 2nd. Now Ashand and Charlie Eastwood both charge past Ed Brand. In trying to get 2nd place, he's dropped to 5th position. And look, Babington has got the lead again. Every time he loses 1st place, he's almost immediately able to fight back. But he's not won it yet. Another chance for Scott, and the lead changes hands once more, and Ashand comes through as well. Babington down to 3rd place, Eastwood 4th, Brand still there in 5th. They break for the first corner, it all bunches up again, and that was Eastwood running into the back of Babington, and the Irishman goes through. Babington down to 4th now, and there's been a change for 5th with Pullinger overtaking Brand. Those two are still side by side, but Pullinger completes the pass. So for the first time in this race, Sean Babington finds himself out of the top 3, and in the background, we just caught a glimpse of Barry Pullinger being pushed down the order. Brand has got past him, Kenny Vermeulen's up to 6th, and in fact Pullinger lost 3 places at that corner, and he's now back down to 8th place. Ashand has fought his way back up to 2nd, and he could have timed this well. He's just gone back into the lead, but he runs a little wide on the exit. They're absolutely side by side, but with the inside line, Scott goes back through. Eastwood almost loses it, but goes 2nd. Babington follows him through, and poor old Ashand has just dropped from 1st to 4th. And now Barry Pullinger overtakes Kenny Vermeulen for 6th place. The Belgian is forced out wide and loses another position to the Kalman Motorsport Kiwi, Josh Hart. That's Ed Brand getting ahead of Ashand for 4th place as they make their way onto the start of the final lap of the race. Hand almost pushing Brand, but Ed fends him off into turn 1, and then it's side by side for 2nd place. Babington gets ahead of Eastwood. The Irishman all over the curbs, but he closes the door in time to prevent Brand from coming through as well. I think I might need to lie down at the end of this race. So, with a brief diversion, it's back to a straight fight for victory between Harrison Scott and Sean Babington. Both have led, both would make deserving winners. We've got a ferocious battle still going on for 6th place. Vermeulen is winning that one, with Ashand losing a couple more places. They're still going at it, and this isn't even the final. But of course, this will determine the starting order for the main race. So they're all trying to get as high up the grid as they possibly can. But up front, after a titanic battle, it's going to be Harrison Scott that takes the victory, with Sean Babington 2nd, and Edward Brand completes the top 3. After 14 laps of racing, they were covered by just 0.6 of a second, with Ireland's Charlie Eastwood coming home 4th, and Belgian driver Kenny Vermeulen 5th. British drivers Sean Slavin and Barry Pullinger were 6th and 7th, with New Zealander Josh Hart in 8th, while Britain's Jack Aitken and France's Alexandra Finkelstein completed the top 10. So that victory puts Harrison Scott on pole for the senior Rotax final. We'll have all the action after the break.